Hey, we are live right now. What's going on, everybody? This is the Houston Hoop Scoop. G-Day Hoop Scout, Rob C in the gym, and we got the Stewarts in the building today.
Yes,
Hey,
yes, yes.
we just gonna keep it raw and uncut as always. Nothing changes. Rob, how's your week been so far, man?
Man, we've been good. Excited for the AAU, excited for the grassroots. I'm sorry, grassroots coming up. Man, still think about the state championships, man, but excited for the future, man. How about yourself?
No, I've been good, man. Just I'm on spring break, educating, so hey, I'm excited about that. I'm chilling, man.
Yeah, man.
Um, Stewarts, how
Yeah,
y'all doing, man? How y'all doing?
man, we
How
good,
y'all
man.
week been?
Man, my week been good. Just trying to be relaxing, get some stuff done around the house. Kind of breathing. Hey, Rob, I gotta ask you. You switched from AAU to grassroots. Why
Oh
was
yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah. We don't call it AAU. We say grassroots. Just like we switch trainer, we don't say trainer no more. We say player development. So we don't say AAU. We say grassroots. That sounds better. That sounds better.
I got you. So wait, but there is an AAU. So is it different than grassroots?
I
It,
think
it
AU is more like the younger kids,
it
right?
is. So AAU is an actual uh, entity by itself, and so
Right.
like they
Right.
get upset when you say AAU and then you're not even an AAU member. And so
Right. Because I'm just throwing that out there.
Oh
Just kind of
no.
throwing some bait. But which I understand the difference because what a lot of people don't know is I had my own organization at one point,
okay,
the Houston Hurricanes, and I played with was under the Baytown Saints. This was when my son was second grade through sixth, seventh grade,
No.
something like that, fifth maybe.
Mhm.
Well, we did the Saints, and with the Saints, we were runner ups in two national championships, prime time and All American Sports. With mine, the Houston Hurricanes, we were seventh in AAU because we went to Disney and played, and then I think we are in the top five in primetime sports.
Take over the show.
Sorry, my bad. I just had to. Well,
Oh
the difference is for those that don't know is you pay that sponsorship and you have to have that business account to be an
mm-hmm.
AAU team.
Gotcha. Got,
Yeah.
hey, drop some gems on me then. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you have to go through the whole, and then that way you can actually take donations from different places. Because when I had my AAU sponsorship, I actually got donations from oil companies.
That's a
Mm.
shout to y'all, Stewart, man, Coach Stewart.
Yeah,
They
he's
said
so
the Houston
funny.
Heavies used to handle y'all, man.
Man, I ain't trying to hear that. Now,
Uh
hold on,
oh, he
hold
started
on, hold on,
already.
hold on.
Who?
Handle what? The Hurricanes?
The
Ah,
Hurricanes or the
hey, at the end of the day, I got
okay.
plenty of trophies. I can buy trophies. Trophies
I'll go
32
get
cents.
look, I go get the
I can
box.
go get the box. My son got plenty of those.
The Houston Heavy.
Uh oh, it has
Like
started.
At the
irrelevant.
end, yeah, I don't even. I mean,
I don't remember the Houston Heavy, to be honest with you.
yeah,
Houston
that. I
Heavy.
mean, it was all about experience. So
hmm
but what people don't realize I was a head of an organization, an AAU coach. Plus, I was a first assistant as a high school coach. So my play stayed full, but it was about development.
Mm.
But like I said, I can go get trophies. Trophies 32 cents. If that's what we want.
Hey,
Woo.
that's true,
Yeah.
man. And
Well, the Saints team, it was pretty much it was Caleb. It was pretty much what the Crosby High School team now and Goose Creek Memorial.
It
So
was
you had Caleb, you had PJ Haggerty, you had
some Summer Creek
Avant.
kids, Summer Creek kids, Avant from Avant Coleman from Goose Creek. Connor Miller played with us. Trey Samuel Williams. He goes to Summer Creek. He's the running back for Summer Creek.
Mm.
okay, okay, okay.
Jaden, yeah. So it was a good combination of kids.
Sam Brayford. Is that how you say it?
He played.
Oh, we didn't play that.
Speaking of that, real quick, G-Day, you seen the awards for Coach Stewart in them district?
I did.
I was man, they.
Hey,
I don't want to keep talking about awards, but bruh, Summer Creek made it to the regional final, and they think Jalen and Jay Goodman couldn't get on the first team,
I thought
bro.
I thought they should have
One of them deserve to get on first team. One of them. Golly.
I don't know how that is because I'm not the first assistant or the head coach. So I don't know what went into that.
Oh no, Coach. We ain't trying to get you to speak. We I know, we just speaking. I just seen it and I was looking. I said, "Oh, Summer Creek gonna have like 2 or 3 kids touching." I seen it. I was like, "Okay." Yeah.
Let me say this about awards and stuff.
Okay.
All right, because my son has plenty of them. I ain't gonna knock. He has plenty of them.
He does.
He has a lot of awards. They're great. I think they're spectacular. You know what I'm saying? They motivate kids. All right. Whatever you get, it's a motivation to. All right. So that's what I like about them. They're for the kids, they're for the parents. I think they're great.
There's always going to be someone who disagrees because my son got MVP last year and someone said shaking my head. So
That's true.
Yeah, it's gonna always be people that disagree. I mean, can't please everybody. The basketball a dirty game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? One thing about basketball, it ain't like football. Football, your son can hide in a helmet and he can stand on the field and you don't see. Basketball, you exposed. There ain't nothing you can do about
it. True.
But I thought because, with us in Summer Creek being pretty much dominating, first and second, went to playoffs that we would have more votes. I don't know how it works.
Yeah, I don't know how it works either.
I don't know.
That's not my lane. So
it's not mine either. So I'm an excellent.
It's not even my lane. Like I said, my son, he has had plenty of awards. I mean, he's been nominated for Donald All-American, Gabby Lewis Award, White Player of the Year, not to mention all his stuff that he had from previous times. Mm-hmm. So I mean, at the end of the day, you know what the best award my son got? That paper, signing that national letter of intent. That's the best award he has got to me and him.
What do you?
Yeah, I agree with that. It leads us right into the first thing: athletes and education. Your son has, like you said, many awards, has done really well, as an athlete. But, that education goes hand in hand. So just for people who may not even know, just talk about the education side, man. Like, people don't even know how intelligent he is.
Okay. So my son was younger. My wife, she does a great job with, we tag team. She does a great job when my kids are younger. As far as the school, they have a routine, they do everything. I couldn't have married a better woman. You know what I'm saying?
You better say.
Yeah, shout her out. You know what I'm saying? And I wouldn't try to learn another person either. So
right,
like Chuck. All right. So when it comes to the high school, I did more at high school because my kids went to school with me. Now I have my oldest son. A lot of people don't know he's going to Sam. He's going to major in pre-med. All right. He's a junior. All right. And then now Caleb, as far as him, what people don't realize, it starts your clock starts your freshman year. It doesn't start your junior, senior. You can't be like, I messed up first semester. And no, it starts as soon as you walk on campus. So my advice is get on your son's grades from the first year. Because anytime I gave transcripts to coaches, what they do is they give a coach would ask for the transcript, right? And then they'll send that transcript to their counselor at their college. And then they'll bring it back and calculate what he has, the points he has, his GPA as far as on their scale, because they only take your core. Like little Johnny can't take 15 PE classes and expect to get in those schools. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They only take it. No, I'm serious. Like I've known kids that be like a half a credit short from going to like big schools or getting scholarships. And I'm sorry. And we lost Rob.
Oh yeah, he'll be back on.
Oh, okay. But I've also it starts your freshman year. Like now what people don't realize, some schools try to load you up with pre-AP classes, which that kind of helps, but it's only like a point or a half a point more than a regular grade, right? Has to be front runner, 4.1 GPA. Not everybody take 4.1 GPAs. So you got to look at what if you got a kid that's not a 4.1 GPA. I'm just reading the comment. So a kid that has, let's say this kid's an athlete and he doesn't make the grades, right? He doesn't make the grades. Well, somewhere along the line, he got to have some A's in the core classes. They don't care about, again, wood shop and PE. That stuff don't add up. The alternatives, that stuff don't add up.
But with our kids, like he said, we started. Well, I started early. Like, and I might say early. I'm talking 2, 3 years old. Both my boys, they knew how to read. I was on them. I was reading every night. I never talked to them in baby voices. People say, "Why do you talk to your kids like that?" I'm like, because eventually they're going to be adults. So I always talk to them. We have open communication. So I instilled in them young. You got to read. You got to be on your work. A lot of stuff, they went to private school for the first few years when they were elementary, but, just staying on them, staying on grades first. That's important in our house. And then, like Curtis was saying, I did kindergarten through pretty much middle school. And then once they got to high school, that was his field because he works at the high school. So, but you have to start early.
Now, I will say this. I'm sorry. I will say this, though. When you get to, I didn't mean to cut you off because I had to go back and think of what I said. Because look, now I will say this: when they got us put a 4.1 GPA on there, yeah, that helps because the higher you score, the less you have to score on your SAT. Supposedly, that's not true. Everybody that pumps that in the kids, that's not true. You have to call the university and see what their requirements are to get into that school.
Because each school is different. Each school holds a different standard. So one school, you might need a 900 SAT to get in, and another school, it might be a 1400. So it just depends on where you're trying to go. Oh, there's right. My sister's on. Right. Hey.
Some schools have a minimum requirement of a GPA. You have to look into it and talk to the admissions office. Like we as parents, we advocate for our kids' education. Like y'all don't know, like I tell my son all the time, hey, did you do this? Did you do that? Try to get him on the schedule. I try to get him on, like when I used to live in the taxi and drive to Crosby every day, my sons would have to wake up with me at 5 a.m. and ride with me to get them on the schedule. So when they go to college, they're already on that schedule.
Mm-hmm. My oldest he's like, oh, I hate it because every morning he has a routine and they'd be like, stop, Dad, stop. But now that he's in school, he was like, you know what? He came back and he's a junior now. He's like, I really appreciate that because now, of course he's a college student. So there's going to be some times where he might be out late and whatnot, but he still has that same routine. He gets up every morning, goes to class, make sure, he handles his business. He still has his friends and his college life, but that's important to him. And he came back and said, at the time it was annoying, but now I see where it's helping me further down the road.
Right. Okay. And now I'll tell you this, in this quarantine where people have been going virtual, if your kid's GPA is low, you failed your kid in this quarantine. I'm gonna be honest with you. And you worry about other stuff than your kid's education, and you can't be blaming the teachers on that.
Yes, I agree with you 100% on that. And it goes back to what you guys were saying earlier. Education started home. You just can't expect for your kids just to go to school and then come home. And then if you're not active within their learning and their education, or you're not teaching them at an early age, you can't have that expectation for them to be great in school. It's kind of like, and that's why I wanted to do athletes and education, because it kind of goes hand in hand. Like it's only that 1% of kids who just get it educational wise. It comes with repetition. Just like if you play sports, repetition. With education, it's all about repetition. You can't just jump straight into something and expect to do great at it. Like I could speak for myself. I was really good at math, and then once I got to college and I took like college trigonometry, I I I was so like, whoa,
Oh
hey,
yeah.
I
Oh
never heard
yeah.
of formulas. I don't know what is going on, and so it takes steps and steps, and parents have to be involved in the education process. You just can't send your kids to school and expect for them just to come back with straight A's, man. It's not going to happen that way.
Have to be involved. I was that parent that even if I had to take off work, if there was mother, I mean, what do these have at school? I can't remember. Manners banquet, whatever little things they would have at school, parent, teacher, whatever, volunteer. I mean, I was volunteering. I was there all the time, even and I think that helps. Like the teachers, believe it or not, they see your face at the school volunteering. They're like, oh, that parent's involved. And so even if there's times where your child is struggling, they'll reach out. They'll send a little email. Hey,
Exactly.
today I noticed that Caleb was having a little bit of a bad day at school. Is there? Oh, well, he was up late. Okay. Well, I'm gonna bring him. I'm gonna give him a little extra snack or whatnot, because they know that you put in the time to volunteer and help. So they're gonna look out for your child. But if you're that parent who are like,
yeah,
I mean, I hate to say it, but it's true. If you're not really involved, them parents are like, oh, them again, kind of her again. She only comes when there's a problem, or and then I also think that some kids, some students, they need extra help and the parents are too embarrassed to ask for it.
right.
That's true.
And get it. If they need help, there's so many resources out there. Get them the help early. They might need an extra tutor, or might need extra time on the test, or someone to help them read their books, or help them.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that, because there are other people who they get the help, if you know what I mean, and they're not embarrassed about getting the help.
Oh yeah, you'd be surprised. I used to be a 504 coordinator at a high school.
Okay.
And you can sneeze wrong and get in 504 and get all the accommodations. But we don't like that. We don't like the label, I guess. I don't know, but your business is your business.
Yeah.
No one can advocate. I always say this: no one can advocate for your child like you, because you know your child. If you're involved with your child's education like that, you'd be surprised, man. People. I mean, I've known people that come to me about basketball, come to me about stats, but yet their son skipping tutorials and can barely pass, and but they worried about, coach, how come you ain't getting on the floor? How come he ain't in class?
Hey.
Hey, man.
When you figure that part out, I'll let you know why he ain't getting on the floor.
And it's crazy because I just talked to my son about this the other day. He gonna be going to high school next year, and he was like, "Yeah, they only require certain XYZ for me to play football and basketball." I'm like, "Dude, if you ain't getting 80s and above, you're not playing." He was like, "But on this paper, it said I only got." I was like, "Dude, if you're not getting 80s and above, you're not playing." Cause I'm the parent that go get the extra math workbooks. I make them read 30, 45 minutes before they do anything, social media, anything. I make them write book reports in the summertime. Like I have to put in my effort if I expect somebody else to look after my child too. I gotta put it in first. So I try to instill that in my household for sure.
Oh yeah, you got to. Let me say this. As a black man, it's already hard enough for us without a degree.
True.
Like I'm gonna be honest with you. When I lived in, a lot of people don't know, but my wife, she's from Washington State. So Caleb and my oldest son, we lived in Washington State. That's where Caleb was born.
Okay.
All right. I graduated college, went up to Washington State with my degree. Either I was overqualified. I just took that as I was too black. No, because I had a degree.
Yeah.
And I would be like, "Oh, you overqualified." Like, how you get overqualified for a secretary job? I'm just saying. Not knocking secretaries, but I had the credentials plus some.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So as a black man, you gotta have that paper. I mean, I'm not knocking the people that don't have it, because I know guys that don't have it and make plenty of money and do what they do. But it's easier for this younger generation when they have that degree. It's easier to get educated, so you'll know who you're competing against in the world with those jobs.
No, that's true, and that's why education is so important. And just because you're good You can only go so far with the talent that you have. That ball's going to stop bouncing one day. You're going to stop hitting home runs. You're going to stop being able to score touchdowns, and you have to be able to fall back on something. And so that education is very, very key. It's very important. To hit them books. It's nothing wrong. And I used to tell my son this all the time. You know, you're very book smart, but you have really no street smart, and there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing
Nothing
wrong
wrong
with
with it.
that at all. There's nothing wrong with that. But kids sometimes get so caught up in, well, I may be in all the AP classes or taking dual course credits, but nobody else on my team is doing it. So I feel like I gotta kind of dumb down to their level, and you don't have to do that. It's okay to be smart.
It's
It's
okay to
okay.
be.
It is nothing. It's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
You may be
Every
that person one day, giving that person a job. Just
True.
saying.
yeah, for real.
My oldest, he's so smart. He used to get in trouble because I mean it just came. I'm telling you, he was reading it too. So he would be in class like, why is it taking so long for these kids to finish tests? Like, and I'm like, and he began. I mean, he would talk a lot because he was bored, and so I told teachers, give him more work, and they're like, we gave him more work. He's finished with that, and
He's
I'm like, okay,
ahead.
make him go recheck it. Like he rechecks it. He got 100%. Like one of the star tests, I think he missed one question.
One question on the whole test.
On the whole test, and someone was like, I've never seen that before. I'm like, yeah. So,
But see, the thing with him is though, all our kids are different.
mhm.
He tried basketball. He played up to his sophomore year,
Okay.
but he tried basketball. He played it up to his sophomore year, and then he was like, "Nope, it's not for me. This is not for me at all. This takes away from my studies." So he was more on my study side. So I was like, "Ooh, I accept that."
Yeah,
But
nothing
I
wrong
support
with
that
that.
100% because he knew what his thing was.
Right.
I mean, it's not for everybody.
It's not.
Nah, it ain't. Definitely not.
Yeah, when he played, he saw his rank.
Yeah,
during
his class rank
his
dropped.
class rank dropped, and he was like, "No, I'm done with this."
Yeah, he was like, "I'm done. I quit." They were talking about go to off season. He was like, "Yeah, I'm really off season."
Yeah, never
He
coming
was
back.
like, "I'm off season." I said, "Here, coach, you can have the jersey." Actually, I think you were the coach.
Yeah, I was his coach. He was like, "Here you go, coach. You can have the jersey. You can have."
Never
He
coming
was like,
back.
"I'm done."
Yeah.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. So, as we close this segment, parents, just make sure that your kids is in them books, please. Um, it's going to carry them a long way. And somebody had commented earlier. I didn't get to put it up, but they said, when do we kind of back off because in college, you can't be there like that. But that's why the repetition is so important during middle school, high school. You have to teach them how to study. Teach them, you know, how to skim through and look for key words and look for key phrases. Understand test taking. Like there's methods to every single thing. And so it's just you got to be willing to take the time out of your schedule to be able to help your children because we all want our kids to be better off than what we are.
And then like with life skills, like with me now, especially with the kids, I have one that's older, that's in college, and Caleb, and I have a younger one. And when they get a certain age, and I did it with my oldest, I stopped doing things for them. So even, I mean, just basic, oh, mom, I forgot. I said, oh, well, you got to self-advocate for yourself. I'm not going to, because guess what? I always tell them, when you go to school, I'm not going to be there to make sure you turned in your paper. I'm not going to be there to, oh, did you wash your clothes the night before because you have practice and you need your practice shirt. There's been days when Caleb forgot to wash something, so he had to spray it with Lysol. I'm like, sorry, you have to just, you got to do it for yourself. So we instill good habits into our children, and then we kind of push them out in the wild. I'm not gonna just have them completely out there, but what?
Nah, I'm just laughing. Let me say this. I'm old school, raised country boy. All right. My mama, every time I came home from college, made me work a hard labor job. Like I was pulling pokewood, like I was like at Tyson, working in the chicken plant. She say, "You want this to be your career the rest of your life, or do you want to get your education?" That's what it takes sometimes. At the end of the day. So
Yeah.
you know that's how she instilled it into me.
Well, I was on vacation.
She was on vacation. You know what I'm saying? I
I mean,
wouldn't.
it is what it is.
I wouldn't. You know.
I was on the beaches of California.
See, she on the beach and stuff. I'm out there sweating. Yeah.
No.
But I mean, to each his own. Though.
Yeah.
Nah, for sure. For sure.
To each his own. Hey, I see you guys got on your Bulldogs gear, Louisiana Tech.
Uh,
The right fit, man. How did Caleb know? How did you guys know and letting him, do all this research and allowing him to make this decision is the right fit?
so Caleb got his first. Well, a lot of people don't know. Caleb got his first offer as a sophomore at Crosby from Texas A&M. All right, that staff left and went to Texas Tech. You know that Texas A&M staff broke up. All right, right before coming into Atascocita, Caleb got invited to that NCAA Academy, where here in Houston. Which, by the way, people can say what they want.
It was wonderful.
It was wonderful, and I mean, it was like the best experience because I felt like all the money that I had ever paid to get into an AAU game, I got it all back at that camp.
It was lovely.
Yeah, but he out of North Texas, out of that camp, he led to North Texas, and then he got his North Texas offer right as we enrolled in the Atascocita, like right that August or something like that, right? All right. So what people don't know is Caleb, when he was a sophomore, I always made his huddle highlight films and I emailed everywhere. When I would tell Caleb, give me your top 10 schools that you like. Give me another 10 that you kind of consider. Give me another 10 that, okay. And then I'll give you a 10 that I like. And I would go down there, find the video coordinators, find the assistant coaches, and send it off. Now, the right fit for Caleb was the relationship. Like don't get me wrong, he had coaches calling him every day, texting him. Rick Pitino called him every day, texting.
We did a Zoom call.
Yeah, we did a Zoom call with Rick Pitino. We did a Zoom call with a lot of coaches, like all the coaches that offered him, and then some that were still on the verge of offering him, just trying to see. I think he felt it was more a family environment. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. The head coach from Tech called him all the time. He called us all the time. We cooking dinner. Hey, coach, what y'all eating? Hey, coach, this and that. It's a relationship. Go where you are wanted. Not saying that other people didn't want him because they offered him, they texted him, they called him, they did all that stuff, and they would all ask the same, hey, y'all close to making a decision? Hey, when y'all gonna make a decision? And I think a lot of times that pressures kids to where they can't think because the recruiting process is very stressful.
It is very stressful.
Very stressful.
So with that being said, Coach Stewart, was it easier for you to navigate it since you like on the other side of it, like, and you were more known than like a normal parent or whatever, or you still feel that pressure as the same as like say your wife would, as far as making a decision and like trying to decipher who is telling you the truth and who is giving you that fluff?
Now let me say this. Now I did talk with Coach Martinez through a lot of it too. He advised us on a lot of things too. Okay. Like, because coaches will call him too, and talk to him. Because I'm gonna be honest with everybody. Study who offers you, because they're studying you. Mm-hmm. And when I say they're studying you, they study you. They knew where I was from. They asked you questions about like questions you would think they wouldn't know. They asked. They knew how tight-knit family we were. They knew about my other son. They studied. So in that turn, I would research. We researched the coaches. Yeah. And asked them questions. Mm-hmm. We asked them about, hey, what's your salary look like? How long are you gonna be here?
What's your contract?
What's your contract? You know, how many people you got coming back on your roster? Well, I just saw you just offer it.
Are you from East? Yes, he is from East Texas. Wait, hold on. And another thing, I guess, to get you how to cut through the fluff We did a lot of research.
Yeah,
When
a
I tell
lot
you
of
we-
research.
We were up late nights. I mean, we even contacted, and I'm not going to name any schools or any parents, but we contacted some, we contacted some players, former players and their parents at schools that, that were offering Caleb, and they weren't at those schools anymore. We wanted to know because, of course you talk to the people who are playing, they're going to tell you all the good things. We wanted to know, hey, why did you leave? Did you transfer out because it just wasn't the right fit, or was there something else? And when we talked to one school, there was 3 or 4 parents, and they had no connections with each other. Their kids transferred, and they gave us all the same stories. And when you have 4 players that left because they were spending more time in the mental health office than
That's why I said you gotta research your schools, research your coaches, like know where they came from. Like I said, I would ask players, hey man, you recruiting all these junior college players, what my son said stand at. You recruiting these same guys for this position, go on verbal commits. It'll tell you who their interest is, who they're recruiting. And then if a coach, either he gonna keep it real with you or he gonna lie to you. If he lie to you, that ain't for you. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day. Because if he ain't got nothing to hide, he gonna tell you, oh yeah, we offered this kid because of da, or we did that. Or coach, a lot of people be like, coach, where I sit at on that board? Well, there is a board in the coach's office.
Yes, right? It is.
now they ain't gonna always be totally honest with you. You got to be honest with yourself. Am I better than that kid that's in that position? That if we're in the same position, could me and that kid go to their school and I dog him and take his spot? You got to be honest with yourself. Or a lot of times, if you say I commit first, then when the coach's right move, a lot of them do, they're gonna call that kid, hey, yeah, we got to commit, we want. So, or we fill that spot, then you need to move on.
Yep.
And they'll tell you that. And it's just the same as us. Like we knew there were some schools that it was like it wasn't going to be a right fit for us. So we were like, you know what, we're not going to keep wasting their time. So we would call. We had Caleb.
Call and tell him.
Coach, thanks for the opportunity, but I'm gonna, what did he say? Thanks for the opportunity, but I'm,
this is just not going to be the right fit for me.
I'm looking at.
So you can go ahead and recruit someone else harder.
Take me off your list.
And coaches appreciated that. I mean,
and he wasn't. We teach him, and he wasn't rude about it. He wasn't just like not answering the phone call and not returning texts. We were like, no, you do it the right way. You tell him, thank you for your time, thank you for recruiting me.
Yeah.
But at this point in time, I'm going to go somewhere else, or I'm looking at a different school.
And I'll tell you this: we had I think it was like November or December. D2 and D3 coaches would call us, right? And when D2 and D3 coaches, I'll tell Caleb, hey man, you talk to them too, and I'm gonna talk to them too, just like the same way, because those guys move up. You don't know if those guys, and plus, you don't know who they know.
True.
You don't know who they know. I saw the comment, recruit over your kid. Make sure they don't recruit over your kid. That is so true. Well, also, you got to ask that coach, hey, who else you gave a scholarship to in my class? They'll tell you. They'll tell you.
And some coaches will say, hey, we only have 3 scholarships to give to the class of 2022. We already have maybe 2 or 3 guys from JUNCO. We have a transfer coming in. These are only 3. So if you might be one of those 3, and there's only 3, and you're saying, oh, I'm just going to wait it out. I'm going to wait it out. Well, 2 of the 3 that already committed, and then there only leaves one position left, and you're still waiting it out. Well, guess what?
They might get that JUNCO player or that transfer because you was waiting out. You was kind of high-siding on them, and it was like, yeah. But you have to research. Again, just like they study you, you need to study them and ask questions. Don't just sit on there like, put it like this. By the time I got off the Zoom and all the telephone calls with different coaches, I felt like I had just bought a brand new car.
You were on like,
because they're going to tell you everything that you want to hear. And you got to ask them some stuff that you don't want to ask them. And it puts them in situations.
I
Yeah.
remember I asked coach because of the COVID, you couldn't do any campus tours. You couldn't go see and so I told him, I said, well, would you come to Houston? And I told you, hey, I got a house for you. It looks good. It's set up. Don't worry. Everything's going to be fine when you get there. I said, if I told you that, would you leave everything and go off my word and stay in that house without knowing the surround anything? And he was like,
you got a good point. He said, you got a good point.
I said, so I can't just go off of a Zoom call. And just because you say, of course they're going to show you, the pretty building, the nice greenery, the trees, the people, looks like they're going like this on campus. But you know what I'm saying? They're selling it to you. They're going to show you all the good stuff. But I'm not going to send my child somewhere that I've never been and he's never been. And it could be totally different when you get there. And so, you just have to really do your research. And then also Caleb has a vision board. And on his vision board, like his top 3 schools, one that I can't read it.
Go ahead.
He had a vision board. And so when it came down to his schools, or he picked Tech was on his vision board from jump. So
yeah, that was his top schools. When I asked to list his top 10 as a sophomore, Tech was on their board from the jump.
Okay.
I saw the comment where it says, ask who's in front of you. Yeah. You have to go look at that roster. You have to go to verbal commits.
You have to.
And look at not just verbal commits, because sometimes verbal commits don't update their stuff. Go to the website and look at the roster. You have to go on that. And then, like I said, ask the coach about each one of them individually. They'll tell you. If they don't tell you, then they hide something. That ain't for you.
Yeah. Was it any other school that seriously got considered like that could have been the one besides Louisiana Tech?
That's not long. I'll get to that.
You asking me about his top 5?
Yeah, like when it came to the
the
end of the decision, like was there any other schools that was like it could be Tech or this school, or was Tech like the front runner for the last 5 that y'all chose?
Well, let me say this. This is like what I don't like kids to do is put your top 5 out. It's okay to say, bless receiver offer from such and such. Because when you put your top 5 out, that kills all the offers that you had. That kills all the coaches that kills everything. That stops your recruitment.
Okay.
All right. So what if you put your top 5 out or your top 3 out? And now that backfires because you didn't pick nothing and they filled all them scholarships up. Now you got to go back and look like, hey, man, I'm sorry. That offer still standing. Don't put that out.
But to answer your question, it was between Tech and a different school. Tech they just pursued Caleb.
Like from day one. From day one, from the first offer, from day one, they pursued him.
Hit my counter like that. God, it's granted. Don't do that.
But I think mess me up.
My mom put a comment talking about the time when she sent me to Texas. I was a volleyball player, and so when I first went to school, I played 2 years at a junior college, and I transferred and I went to Wiley College. And I had never been there, and my mom was like, "You're going." So that's back in the day. So she put me on the bus, and I went from Washington to Marshall, Texas, and it was a big culture shock. Don't do that. Don't ever do that to your child. That's what my mom did to me. She was like, "Nope, pack your bag." I'm like, "I don't even know where I'm going." I had never seen roaches, crickets, nothing like that, and it was night and day. So that's what she saw. Don't do that.
Yeah, but I do think though, you have to research. Like at the end of the day, ultimately, it's your son's decision, and you need to support that. Your son or your daughter, you need to support that, but don't give them all the good stuff. You have to find some bad too, I guess. Right?
Can you stop?
Sorry, yeah. I mean, I'm not necessarily say find bad stuff, but you have to be aware of some things. Like you have to be, I don't know, everything is not always roses.
So y'all researched everything like SAT scores to get into school, how he fits in the offense, everything.
Everything. who's in front of him, who's graduating, who's leaving,
who they're recruiting.
Like I asked.
We had like when I tell you we had a file like this, like every school, like just everything, like even like what are they major, like what's their top, their graduation rate.
Yeah, what's the graduation rate?
One school, their graduation rate, I'm like, it's hard to say. It was like what 40%, 40 to 50%, and I'm like, ooh,
yeah. See, you got you got to research all of this, and you got to ask the coach, hey, how much of your team graduates, and they'll tell you what's the percentage on it.
And another question I asked about like the current climate and with especially I mean it's obvious we're African American, we're Black, and so sending my son somewhere, how does racism how does that take in play, and how's the community if something happens, if the boys are in a car together and they want to go to the store and they get pulled, how do you guys support that? Are you just gonna now you have to leave the school? Like, what's your tolerance level? Are you going to support something if police brutality takes place? I want to know all that.
That's a good question. That's a good question.
Some questions are uncomfortable, but the uncomfortable ones help you make your decisions too.
I appreciate y'all for saying that, because G-Day, we've been screaming that for a whole year. Especially, we started out on the Houston Hoop Scoop about AAU. We was like, you gotta, and we were just speaking on AAU at the time, but the thing we always speak about is ask questions. If somebody is upset or uncomfortable with you asking questions, that may not be the situation for you. You should be able to ask any question that you want to get that satisfaction as a parent that you're okay with releasing your child to that person.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we even asked like questions like, coming in as a freshman, it's a transition. Is your staff going to support our son? Like when they go, because they're going to go all freshmen. They're going to go through that hurdle of being homesick.
Hit the wall.
You have different classes, you have different schedules, you have workouts. Are you going to be there through that transition, or is it kind of like, oh, you're a man now, you're on your own? Who's there to help them, to guide them through those tough spots when they, when they're going through those transitions. So, and we just feel like Tech, everything that we.
Yeah, they was on the bullet points, the checkoffs, the marks, and Caleb liked it. So he's comfortable with it. So,
man, they had a great year this year too. I mean, like y'all said, man, I'm glad y'all speaking this, because there's a lot of parents out here that don't know the questions to ask, or maybe timid to ask questions. I mean, y'all saying it right here, like y'all got files and files and files and research, man. You gotta do your background, man.
You have to.
So you gotta go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say. So how long, like from the time that y'all made a decision as a family to that y'all announced it, since you say you didn't like announcing it, just putting it out there, or whatever.
So again, the whole process. The only people involved in the process was us, and we talked to Coach Martinez. All right. We wasn't like putting it on social media, taking on narrowed it down to his top 3, top 5.
Yeah, I never saw that.
No.
I think we told Coach Conkle of his decision. I don't know.
So I gave Caleb a time period. I said, look, the way things are going, any coach that called us, we said we're signing that first period.
Okay.
The first time you can sign your national letter of intent, we were signing.
Sir.
All right. So I told Caleb, I said, look, Labor Day weekend, tell all the coaches you're going to make your decision by Labor Day weekend, so they'll kind of give you time to breathe. Because he was getting calls like every day. His head was like spinning.
Sometimes he would come out of his room, maybe 10 o'clock at night. He's like, oh, I just got off the phone with Coach such and such. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. He's like, I said, Caleb, because he would answer all the phone calls. He answered all his phone calls. But yeah, he made his decision. We wanted him to so he can just kind of get the stress, just breathe a little. So he made his decision
before Labor Day weekend, and then he told them via Zoom call. Yeah. He told them via Zoom call.
But we didn't announce it until.
But we didn't announce it then. We just we let them kind of announce it, and we told them, and then we,
Yeah, because you know how the high schoolers, they want to do a video. So they knew that, but they knew that he had committed before we even announced it, like before he put his video on Twitter. Probably about a good 3 weeks, maybe 3 or 4 weeks. Yeah.
Now, speaking of video, I hate to change the subject.
No, go
but
ahead.
This is not your
I'm
show.
sorry.
No. Hey, y'all can go ahead because the moderator is gone right now. I think he having a little technical difficulty. So go ahead. I'm listening.
Okay, so videos. Now that do come into play as far as your recruitment. All right. Mr. Day did some great highlight videos for Caleb. Left Island did some great highlight videos. All right, so I want to say it's either Huddle video. I sent it to the guy from Rivals, and they did a little write-up on Caleb, and he put it out there too.
Okay.
Now, also Mr. Day video, I sent it to coaches. And then coaches would be like, oh man, this kid, from the video, he's athletic, he's this, he's that. Let me see full game film. That's all coaches want. I talked to, who's that? Was it Yale? No, not Yale. Was it Yale or Harvard? It was one of those, and they was like, Coach, let me see full. It was Ivy League school. Let me see full game film. We see game film, and he'd tell us, our kids don't play year round or train year round because they usually be in internships. Yeah. Which is great because you get an Ivy League school.
Yeah. But the rigor is
very hard, from what I was understanding.
Somebody said Princeton. Your sister said Princeton.
Yeah, it was Princeton. Princeton. It was Princeton.
But they weren't really. The only thing with Princeton is, I think Caleb, he's still, of course, it's education, but he still wanted to play. And with Ivy League, it's more like it's the other way around. But it's Ivy League, and then they weren't sure if they were going to have a season. The coach kind of like, we're not sure if we're going to have a season. Yeah. But on the other end of that, I was like, but you will be on Wall Street, where
Yeah.
Now,
it's a give and a take.
Yeah, but then that's in New Jersey, and we've never been to New Jersey. At least I haven't. Never been in New Jersey. Don't know anything about. Yeah, that's kind of tough sending your 17-year-old son.
But me, I was like, it's an Ivy League,
Yeah.
But I tell you what helps though, the highlight films. Like people people making highlight films of their kid, and people knocking the highlight films and all that good stuff. Let me tell you this: buy your son's highlight films. Even after Caleb signed, he just wanted a highlight film for his memories. He was still asking me to buy a highlight film from people.
I was like, for what?
Yeah, I was like, for what? But it's memories for him. I get it. Yeah. But also, when you send a highlight film, don't get a highlight film of you just playing defense all the time and you stealing and you snowbirding. If you're gonna snowbird to get a layup, snowbird. Yeah, for those who don't know what snowbird means, that means leak out, get a layup. You better get on that rim.
Yeah,
it ain't no
laying it up. Yeah,
nah, you better get on that rim because they want to see athleticism. They want to see you making moves and getting not just stealing it and making a pass all the time. Yeah, and then also again, defense. That's great. But then when they ask for full game film, you got to be able to send some good game footage because they're gonna take that film and they're gonna give it to their video coordinators and they're gonna dissect it and grade you out on their full game film. So for people who don't have full game film, I mean, you got to find a way. And I ain't talking about AAU game film. They ask us. Grassroots game film.
Appreciate it.
They ask for high school film. So both of them play hand in hand. So Caleb's highlight films came from camps, grassroots, but his full game film comes from high school. And they're going to dissect that. But you also can make highlights from Huddle. That's what I used to do freshman, sophomore, trying to introduce him to stuff. But you have to get some highlight films from one of those guys.
Gotcha.
That makes sense.
Well, I'm gonna ask you this question. How special was it getting to coach your son every day? And the second part to that, were y'all able to separate coach and player from father and son?
Okay, so coaching my son every day because I've been coaching him forever. Like
Yes, sir.
coaching him, training him. Not everybody can coach and train my son because I'm gonna be honest with you. I study people. I might not say a lot, but I study people.
Okay.
What my dude Lil Wayne say? Real G's moving silent.
Silence, yeah.
Oh my God.
But I study people.
Okay.
All right. So he's had a few coaches. Like he had, 2 high school coaches and then the assistant coaches. He's had some trainers. Not too many trainers though. Like I wasn't taking my son and bounce everywhere, bounce.
That's one thing I remember you saying. I remember him saying, I'm not going to have my son go over here to Katy and then come back over here to the north side and then go over here to, I don't know, Bel Air somewhere and just all these different trainers because sometimes people think more is better and it's not. It's really not. And so, like he said, he did most of the coaching. Like he'll play for Urban DFW. I think that was the first coach to ever outside of you that coached Caleb when he played for Urban.
I let Bowman coach him on the Hurricanes one year, but I'm
talking about like.
Oh yeah, outside of the organization, yeah, Urban DFW.
And then of course Basketball University, and then
Lucas, and then the hoops. He would have played for the Hoop 17U.
Yeah.
But back to the question about the coaching and the.
Well, so
sorry.
No, wherever y'all want to take it, y'all go.
With that being said, like with the high school part, so at one point I coached him up to like the 7th grade. I think I coached him at AAU to the 7th grade, and then grassroots to the 7th grade, and then I would say, okay, I gotta get somebody else to coach him because I'm gonna get him in high school. So because he got to get used to somebody else coaching him, but I'm gonna see him every day. So Urban coached him, Urban DFW, Byron, excuse me. They coached him that year, and then when it came to high school, we went to Crosby. Well, I was assistant coach at Crosby. So if good cop, bad cop, I wouldn't tell him bad stuff. If the head coach talking to him as the first assistant, I shouldn't rip you if the head coach ripping you. You can't always have negative stuff all the time. Somebody got to say something good. Regardless of what is said, somebody got to say something good. Hey man, let's try this. Like I can't rip you, and then like if my wife get on him, I'm not gonna get on him. If it's vice versa, somebody got to be the mom and the dad in a relationship. All right. So when the head coach would talk to him, I got to keep my relationship with my son because we wouldn't even talk about basketball in the car home or at home unless he brought it up. It might be 2 days later. Hey, did you see this move? What you thought about that move? So I would let him bring it up. He still does that until this day. And it's one of those things like
you always say at the end of the day,
yep.
He lives with us and he's his dad first. Yes, he's still going to coach him and do whatever, but at the end of the day, he's always going to be his father. So it's like you have to separate coaching because when he was younger, I think you realize you kind of just going through hurdles and like he was coach mode 24/7.
Right.
It was coach when he was training him, then at the game, and then in the car coaching, then at home talking about. And then after a while, I was like, hey, you gotta.
Mama, she told me.
I said, you gotta chill.
Yeah, she told me, say you gotta bag up and chill. So as I start realizing that, it became like, I don't want to lose my son over this. You know what I'm saying? I don't want him growing up and looking at me like I'm Joe Jackson.
yeah.
Like,
not Joe Jackson.
Like real talk, though. Like,
I
don't want like. So the relationship, he always know how he can talk to one of us, even if he'd be like, "Oh, I ain't gonna talk to Dad. I go talk to her," or vice versa. But relationship with your child is way more valuable than a basketball. At the end of the day, it's way more valuable. With that being said, you have to let your child be a kid. You can't always, like, it'll be times I'll be like, "Hey, you going to work out?" "Nah, I'm just take the weekend off." "Okay, cool. He was like, he'll be like, I'm gonna go Monday and go all hard all this week. But I'm gonna hold him to that though. That's the thing. Because he said it.
Yeah.
Not that I forced it on him. He said it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's times like that. Or it's times that I won't say nothing and he'll tell me, hey, let's go to the gym. They'll let me know he wants to go. I can't force it on him. Even my younger one, he'll be like, hey, let's go to the gym. Then I know he's interested. Then I know I can get it out of him. But if I'm forcing on, man, you going to the gym, man, you going here, you going there, then he gonna hate basketball. And he gonna hate me too.
Yeah, I seen a lot of that over my years. Like as kids or younger, like 12 and 13, I go to the gym, I see their parents ripping them every day. And I just think to myself, like, man, by the time that kid gets 17, he ain't gonna even want to play basketball. And like 9 times out of 10, when I see that kid in high school, junior, senior, he like, man, Coach Rob, it's not even fun no more. Like, man, I've been doing this since I was 10, 11 years old. It's like a job now. You know what I'm saying?
He's back.
Oh my God,
hey,
he's back.
Hey, I was gone for a minute. I don't know what happened. Hey, I can hear y'all and everything, but
boy, talk about stage fright, boy.
Don't worry. Hey, it's okay because this
y'all doing great. Y'all giving a lot of knowledge. Hey,
no, that's what I'm telling them. Don't stop, man. Keep going.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, you have to be humble. Like me as a dad, as a coach, because it's different when another grown man talking to your son and you know what I'm saying, getting on your son. It's totally different.
Yes.
So, but you gotta understand and accept that too. You know what I'm saying? You gotta accept that. And then when we come home at the end of the day, if he want to talk about what's going on, cool. If he don't, it is what it is. If he go by my house, by my door, and don't say nothing about it for a few days, then I know it's bothering him. If he's walking back and forth, then I might ask him, hey man, so what you think about such and such? Like that. It's not a get on type of deal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And once again, you have to be in your son or daughter's life because not everybody gonna say or do your child like how you do. Mm-hmm. So kick that basketball away and find out what's really going on with your child.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Because there's some times where some kids, or some boys, they might be going through some stuff and you're like, oh man, what your game is this and your this is this, and you don't know mentally, like there might be something really going on, but you have to open that line of communication because you might not know that, hey, who knows, something might have happened at school and they're still carrying that on, or maybe one of their friends might have dropped something on them, hey man, this is what happened at my house. I don't have no food. You don't know anything. And they're trying to help mentor their friend. And then they're upset because their friend's upset, and you're thinking, the game, you had a 2, 3, 4 turnovers. There's other stuff. I mean, people fail to realize that teenagers are humans. They're humans just like us. And even though they're playing these games and they're phenomenal athletes, they still have things that go on in between this. And you have to be able to, you have to be able to decipher that.
You gotta remember their frontal lobe not developing. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Now we've been I don't know if y'all seen it, but me and G they been watching Last Chance U and the kid
we've been watching it. Yeah.
Joe Hampton. Like we was talking about that today, like how many JUCOs around this area would have kicked him out of school when he missed all them days of not coming to the game. But the coach wasn't even worried about that. He was worried about just his mentality and his mental, like all the childish stuff that he was spewing out of his mouth, he was still going to, what's wrong with you? I got to make sure you are okay. So it's like he gets it. And that's what I like about you, Coach Stewart. Like at the end of the day, I see y'all, I watched from before your interaction with your son, and rarely do I hear y'all talking about basketball. You know what I'm saying? It's more just regular father-son talk. That's why I wanted to know like how the dynamic was, because a lot of dad sons that I see, it's more like the Denzel Washington, Ray Allen on He Got Game. Like, you be thinking they about to go kill each other or something, man. I'm like, dang, that's your son, man. But no, man, Yeah, 7 turnovers, like, but you still gotta love them.
That's my role. No.
Hey, LeVar Ball, that's LeVar Ball. Like, she getting her LeVar Ball mode. You know what I'm saying? Not knocking LeVar Ball. I think he's a genius on
I
what
was
he
just about to
did.
say he turned out to be a genius though.
He a genius, right? But she'll get into not the ball. What y'all call that? PGW.
I used to be.
Yeah, that's what they call it, PGW.
PGWs.
Yeah.
Yes.
But she realized she's a coach's wife. You know what I tell my wife because when I used to coach, I'd be like, "Babe, Caleb playing, we coaching, we gonna sit away from people. Sit away, sit on the visitor side. Yeah, sit on the visitor side. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, the home side be drilling you harder than the visitor side do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, they be getting on you worse.
Yeah, and you know me. I mean, I'm better now, but I used to be like, what?
Watching. No, like we're talking about.
You know, I'm like, what? And I'm very competitive, and
Yeah, she very competitive.
But then I start saying, I can't, because you never know. I start telling myself, okay, you never know who's at these games. You don't know who's watching you. Yes, Tamika, we can go there. Yes, I've only been kicked. I think I've only been kicked out once, but that's a long time ago. But
you got kicked out of the game.
Oh, that's when we was there. Look, I gotta tell y'all this. That when we was young. So we was at a prime time tournament, right? And my little one, like Caleb was on a fast break. Oh, he lost. Caleb was on a fast break.
No, we're still here.
Now we put y'all on the screen.
We put you on solo.
Go ahead.
My little one ran across as Caleb on a fast break. My little one ran across the court to I don't know what he was gonna do. Stop him, take a charge. I don't know. So Caleb avoided him, made the layup. Well, I immediately ran onto the court to try to grab him. So the guy came over and was like, "Who baby is this?" The person in the that's in charge. And I say, "This is my son," and my wife like, "It's my baby." So it led into a big argument. And
so it wasn't even about.
Right. It wasn't even about that though. He was just upset.
But he wasn't gonna talk to me any kind of way.
And that is true because yeah. But it was about to get ill. Yeah.
But then, like I said, Caleb got older. I think middle school is when I started to chill out. I started saying, okay, you never know who's at these games. I'm like, whose mama is that? And I don't think I was ever. I don't know.
You're not bad. Like I've seen some people cut up at games. You know what I'm saying? But let me say this: when Coach Kunkel saw Caleb on film, like you say, you never know who watching. This man counted. How many claps Caleb did for his teammates. That's how he knew that he wanted Caleb. One of the reasons. Yeah, he watched on film and rewinded it and counted his claps. He told me that.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was like, ooh, I better. I already had chilled out.
Oh yeah, it's the little things. Like,
but some parents, I know these games get intense, but some parents, I be seeing y'all out there. Y'all be, I don't know.
But here you go. Why you mad? You can't change the call. If they call a foul, they ain't finna go back. Oh yeah, my fault. Take that foul out the books. They ain't finna do that. Like,
and like I said, Caleb's a senior. He's graduating, and I won't say I've arrived. I'm a work in progress, but I'm way better than I used to be. There's been a few times that I've lost it, but
yeah, I mean, but it's the competitive side though. You don't want to be that parent that's all you known for around. Oh, here come that parent. But to each his own though. Like to each his own. Like I ain't knocking it. Like if you speaking the truth, speak the truth. Yeah. But refs ain't gonna change their call. Like I mean, I just say that that's just not my demeanor. I guess I just like watching it. You know what I'm saying?
Like I've seen some parents be like, "Oh, he's too little," and all that.
Oh yeah, I had parents talk to my son. He's too little, and hear my son lighting your son up, and then all of a sudden my son look back, be quiet, sit down, and then it's like, oh, why you disrespecting my dad? Well, your dad talking to a kid, his daddy in the corner. Go talk to his daddy over there. Don't talk to the kid.
Hey man, that fan stand interaction, boy. It's you hear some of everything, but that's
Right,
how I
Well,
do the
grassroots is worse
Yeah,
because
grassroots is way
you
worse.
have the teams that are playing against each other. You all sit on the same 3 little rise bleachers, and oh man, it gets bad.
Like my thing is this. At the end of the day, they kids.
They still are. Yeah.
They still kids. And if you got beef with a kid because he working your son out there or killing your son, you need to take that up and ask that kid, hey, who trained your son? Who do this for your son? Don't be coming at the kid. Get your son better.
True.
You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day,
We don't like to lose as long as
I don't like to lose just as much as anybody else. I hate losing too. But as a grown man, you ain't finna be saying too much to my son out there. So really think about what you say to other people's kids.
Yeah, you gotta be careful. You do gotta be careful what you say to other people's kids.
You do, because you don't want someone saying that to yours, and then
now we all locked up.
Yeah.
That's what's gonna happen if you be saying stuff to the wrong person. We all get locked up.
Nah, for sure.
Yeah.
We seen a lot of that, man. We seen it, man. I know y'all have over y'all time. We just seen it.
AAU game goes wrong, and it make us look bad as a basketball community.
Yes.
And then that's why schools don't want to host AAU tournaments no more. They want to charge this. You got to go here because it make us look bad. Cause I done seen a few. I hosted a few tournaments. I had to run people out the gym, like because it got crazy. And then it looked bad in front of the kids. They all got their phones out.
yeah,
recording it, especially nowadays. Yeah, I mean, but it is what it is. To each his own.
And what
exactly. That's
the kids. Like they're mad for the moment, but then like a day later,
yes,
cool with each
yes,
other.
they've been friends. Like it's like the parents might be going at it, and then I look up and I got the kids of the opposing team. They're at my house.
Yeah,
or some pieces such as coming over. Oh, okay.
Exactly. It's plenty of times I'll be like, I'll go in Caleb and be like, who you talk to? Oh, I'm on the video game with such. Did y'all just play against him? Yeah, we cracking up. Because they all talk to each other. What you parents don't realize, if you look at your child's phone or their video game, they play with everybody who you dislike.
Exactly.
I'm just saying though, they play.
True.
I'm not saying that I dislike people. As a God-fearing man and a Christian man, I don't dislike anybody. I mean, have I got mad at people? Yeah, of course. That's the human side of me. But
I'm a work in progress.
She said she'll work. We all work in progress.
Yeah,
we all work in progress. But I ain't finna let you live in my head rent free though.
Nah, you ain't finna stay rent free.
At the end of the day.
Yeah, but they do come together and they laugh. Yeah. On Snapchat and on video games.
Yeah. And then my kid will be like, hey man, hey dad, such said what's up. Or I'll be like, hey, tell him I said what's up. Tell him I said that was a good game last night. So and I'm not saying us, while you as a parent is pissed off at the other, excuse my language, at the other kids and their parents, your son already back home playing the video game with the one you was mad at.
True.
It happen all the time.
True.
Yep. All the time, man. So before we get to questions and answers from the people, man, just want to know, is it okay? Is it okay to be the parent who pushes your child to want to be better? It gets shunned. People look down at it. People always want to talk negatively towards it, but when it comes to their kids, then it's okay. So is it okay? Just want to know, is that okay?
Is it okay to push your kids?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it okay?
Yeah, I think it's okay. I mean, there's levels to it, if that makes sense. He made a reference earlier, Joe Jackson. I think that's a little extreme.
That's extreme.
You know what I mean? But if you feel like your child has potential and you want to push them to be the best they can be, do it. Long as it doesn't get to the point where that child starts resenting you or resenting what you're doing, because some parents try to live vicariously through their kids. And when it gets to that point where it's more about me than it is about him, then you need to reevaluate what you're doing. So
I think I said it earlier. You have to let your child be a child. You have to let them be a kid because you're only a kid for so long. You're an adult for way longer than you are a kid.
Hey, say that one more time.
Man,
Hey, if my kids listening, did somebody else besides me just say that? I say this every time we have a. Please say that again, Coach Stewart.
You are only a kid for so long, but you're an adult the rest of your life.
mm-hmm.
So you don't get back like I don't know about like my son made fun of me of the quarantine, right? He tried to get me to dunk a basketball, right? Now, mind you, I always say I can dunk one time per year, every year. So it took me, they say it took me like 50 times. I don't believe that. But in my mind, it only took me like 3 times. You know what I'm saying? So in my mind, I'm going to forever be young, regardless of how old I am.
Yeah.
So you can only be a kid. So with that being said, my kids have dreams. I'm here to support their dream. If I feel like my son, he say, I'm going to be the best at this, then I'm gonna go, hey, well, I'm gonna go all out. Why not? We spend money on everything else. We do everything else. We buy PS5s and cars, we buy all that stuff. So why not put that extra work in or time in or money to support my son's dream? Now, just because Junior changed his dream, don't get mad and try to make him do it anyway. Because it happens. Because how many times as adults we change our jobs, our lives, our houses, our homes. So don't be tripping on Junior because he changed his dream.
Exactly. Which brings me to my next. Is it okay? So it's okay for coaches to switch jobs, but why isn't it okay for kids to switch schools?
I think it's a taboo. You know what I'm saying? Like what I mean by that is coaches. Everybody wants to win. Whether you're a grassroots coach, whether you're a high school coach, they want to win. All right. A lot of people don't realize, man, that coach, he didn't sign off on this, he didn't do that. If you do it the right way, though, it shouldn't even matter. If you do it the right way, there's a right way to do it, though. You know what I'm saying?
It is the right way to do it.
When you say switching schools, are you talking about high schools? Are you talking about what level?
I'm talking about high school because it used to be a big thing in college as well. But
here's my thing: some people don't know because I'm friends with the mom, and I'll keep it anonymous. But on the outside looking in, you're like, oh, he switched schools. Why would he switch schools? Why? Well, what's going on? But once you really get to the bottom of things, sometimes coaches can be bullies.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna leave it at that. And there's and it's not a good situation. And that child feels like I gotta go somewhere where, just like when you're getting recruited, I have to go somewhere where I'm wanted, where I can be pushed to my greatest potential. And it's not all about, oh, well, they didn't have a winning season or, oh, they didn't get playing time. No, some stuff is a little bit deeper than that.
Let me go back and say this. You as an individual, remember what I said that I gotta live with my son, and I gotta live with my child for the rest of my life and the rest of his life. I'm living with my child, right? Mm-hmm. Well, he's still gonna be my child regardless.
Right? I got what you're saying.
He's still gonna be my child.
Like, no, he's finna get out the house.
Yeah. But no one is gonna treat your child like how you treat your child. So if I got to do what makes my child happy, if that's me switching schools, now there are consequences with switching schools for the wrong reason. Yeah. You might have to wait a year, right? Well, if my child happy and I see him smiling all the time, and I'm coming home to that, so what? Little Johnny had to play, sit JV for a year or freshman for a year, and he was playing varsity over here or over there. Do you want your child to be happy, or do you want to be calling the shrink every day talking about, man, I don't know why, or calling talking about
Because sometimes
talking about problems with your
I'm finding
child.
out a lot of times, like sports aside, sometimes these kids they transfer because there's other things going on.
You're right.
You know, it might not even be the coaching staff. They might be getting bullied at school from their peers, or there might be a teacher that just is always on them. And I know, it's like, oh well, they got to be tough, or financial reasons, or you just never. I mean, you never know. And I know some parents are like, oh, that's the real world. You just can't do this and that, this and that. Well, guess what?
Right. That's not true. When people say, "On the real world, you can't do this and do that," that is not true. The real world, you can switch jobs and switch stuff anytime you want to. So don't be saying that stuff ain't true. People.
No, I'm talking about like facing.
No. I know what you're saying. You can't run from your problem. I know grown folks that run from their problems every day. So that is not true. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it's a taboo about switching schools because you don't know that, but you got to do it the right way. You know what I'm saying? Do it the right way.
Because I like to bring. I mean, it's sad that this happened, but it was a kid in this city who didn't get to play varsity this year, and he left the school because his mother was about to pass away, and the school didn't sign. And this school notorious for not signing off on kids anyway. But
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, the kid mother was about to pass away, had to go stay with his father, and they like basically held him response like, oh well, he tried to leave because he wanted to go play basketball. Like, nah, my mama was sick. So
here, on that form, that form asks you. The form is a trick question. If you look on the back of it, it asks, did you sell your house? Did you rent your house out? Did you do this? I can't remember all of it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a trick question on that part too. You know what I'm saying? It's how you fill that form out. Now, even if a coach do say that little box that the coach fill out and say he moved, it asks you, did he move for athletic purposes or did he get into it with the coaching staff before he left? It asked that question. And the new question they added was, did your child play on the same AAU team as somebody else in their school?
Oh.
That question at the bottom of it too.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know the story. I think that's kind of sad. I think that's very sad on that part that he had to go through all the litigations and go to UIL, and they probably still voted it down.
Yeah.
I don't know much about. I mean, I heard about the story. I just think just because of whatever he was going through, that sounds like a hardship to me. They should have just signed up.
Yeah, that sounds like a hardship because
It was. There is. I mean, there is no. I mean,
if and buts about it. That's a hardship. I mean, they should, to me, just to sign off on it. I mean,
because we know some coaches.
I mean,
coaches that's close to you, comes through it. There's a couple of coaches, they don't care. They're going to sign off on it. You want to go ahead and leave. Hey, leave. Go ahead.
I mean, but at the same time, though, I mean, what? They ain't trying to hold the kid. Right, deuces. I mean, at the end of the day, okay, some people think like this. If that kid stayed, how would it affect your program?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Or am I better than that kid? Yeah, man, he gonna do better over there. Go. I mean, go. But do things the right way. Don't, there's ways to do things. Like with us, when we move from Crosby, I tell you, hey, we leave. We moved to Atascocita. We had already lived in Atascocita before. Well, we moved, so we lived in Atascocita before, right? Caleb went to Eagle Springs, which is the elementary school in Atascocita. He lived there. He went there. He went to the middle school that feeds there. I lived there. I just worked at Crosby. Well, I came here to shop playing varsity. We moved to Crosby. We moved there. We resided there.
It was more of the fact that actually where we lived at, he was zoned to go to Humble High School.
Yeah, he was zoned to go to Humble.
And it came down to the, games. How are you going to watch your son play?
Right.
When you guys had games the same day. So it just came to that decision. Is like, Caleb's like, well, I'll just go with you, Dad.
Yeah, he was like, I'll just go with you. So I was like, well, we got to move. So we moved. Right. And then that, things happened in Crosby. And so we moved back to Atascocita. And when you got the address and you moved, it is what it is.
Yep. Man, you guys have been amazing, man. I appreciate you guys for coming on. Hey, anytime we do a show, y'all always be in the comment section giving really good feedback on everything.
You
So
know what's funny? Usually I'm downstairs and he's upstairs or vice versa. And I'm like, man, get off that show. I want to see my comments. I'm like, Lee, I just see your comments popping up. Somebody else say something.
Yeah, she be yelling upstairs. I yelling downstairs. Ooh, ooh.
It's funny because I'm usually downstairs and I'll say, oh, you guys will say, oh, we got both Stewarts on the show. I'm like, oh Lord. Let me go scroll, see what he's talking about in
No, we
here.
love it, man. We love it.
No,
We appreciate it.
we got people who asking you guys questions. Mr. Dudes has a lot of
A
questions.
lot of questions.
So
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna go ahead and post the first one for you so y'all can read it. He's saying if there's one thing you wish you known about this whole grassroots high school recruiting process before you started, what would it be? If it was one thing that you knew before all of this, what is it that you wish you knew?
Mm.
Probably. Well, I got my younger one now, and he's gonna start doing things, and I'm gonna do things different with him. Different, but not different in a sense.
Wait, hold on. Is there one thing you wish you knew about the whole grassroots?
I think I would probably.
One thing you wish you knew.
I wish I knew how many hours it take and how much time it take to put into things. That's why I said I'm gonna do some stuff different with my younger one, because all kids are different. You can't do everybody the same. You know,
That's true.
like my younger son, he like basketball. He play basketball. He physical. Heck, he'll take a charge. Like you don't find too many 8-year-olds that'll take a charge or even know what a charge is.
True.
But guess what else he like? He likes swimming. And I'm down for that. It ain't too many of us that like swimming.
That's true.
It's true.
I think this is not one thing I wish I would have knew before, but with grassroots, I think what happens, and this is, I think where a lot of parents kind of get mixed up, is you start, they're young and you get this group, right? And you want to stay with this group. And sometimes your child, supersedes the group, and you got to separate yourself from the group,
right?
Because that same group usually is the same, maybe elementary group, middle school, then high school group. And I just feel like with us, there came a point where it was like, we wanted to get our son on the circuit.
Right.
And the circuit meant you gotta leave some of your friends behind.
Right. You're right. We wanted to get him.
The circuit wanted him, but we were so used to
the group,
our group. Because it was his program, and we made relationships, but it's like, okay, we need to start getting him some exposure. You have to start playing against some of these high level names, the high level teams,
right?
But the group can't come with you,
right? You're gonna have your friends, and they might be upset, but again, like she said, you gotta let that group thing go. You know what I'm saying? Because I think I said it on the last
you said
show.
In the comments, Yep.
Just because I'm next to you don't mean it's gonna rub off on you.
Man, it's not going
to. yeah. So eventually you can tell the separations. Because I'll tell you this, these kids that play grassroots from 9U all the way up, and then they tap out by the time they get to high school, and they don't even play basketball in high school.
Okay. So what's the biggest turnoff during the whole recruiting process
from colleges?
Was it really a big turnoff?
I don't know for us.
Back up, you're all up in the camera.
Sorry.
I mean, come on. Jeez.
I can't cover that beauty.
No, it's just the biggest turnoff for the recruiting process.
I can say for my son, because he told me, because I asked him, what you think about this? What you think about that? I think when they stopped contacting him until they found out he got another offer.
Yeah, I can see that.
And then it's like, oh, wait a minute.
Such offer? Oh, now let me jump back
on the race. Or the other one was, you've been coming around, you've been flirting with me and seeing me and not offering me. Because nowadays, this is the day of media.
Yeah.
And kids post, blessed to see you, offer success, blessed to see that. So you've been coming around and calling me every day and doing this and doing that. Well, you ain't said the words offer.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yes, that was hard because every time I'm like, you've been on the phone or we've been on the phone for 45 minutes to an hour. And then we hang up and we all look at each other and say, is that an offer?
Yeah, we can't like
I'm not gonna say, oh, Caleb got an offer from such a, or Caleb's like, did I get offer? I'm like, well, if he didn't say I'm offering you, then it's not an offer. But they would but they would just call and talk, and like I said, he would answer the phone, so he would talk to him, he would be respectful, but it was just like, oh, is this an offer? Or you just wasting my time.
What's the best age group to start looking outside that group?
Middle school.
Yeah, I think sixth grade start. And then start looking. Well, the thing was
middle school.
She said, yeah, middle school.
By the time 8th grade, that's when, to me, 8th grade is when I think the development starts changing, especially with boys.
Yeah.
And it just, I don't know. But with switching from the group, I will let you know that it starts going from, it starts going from, we won this tournament, let's win some trophies, let's have fun, let's get who's bringing the snacks, and you got your moms and getting the hotels and doing all that, to political stuff.
It starts getting political.
Because then now the media is noticing, who's this new 8th grader or freshman coming in? Let's rank him.
Or not even that, even in the 6th, 7th grade. So you see kids get ranked in the 7th grade, high profile, and then you don't see them kids again in high school. They fall off.
Yep, every time.
So the separation probably starts in like 6th grade, like, because it's like one of those deals that the earlier you start separating in the 6th, 7th grade, the better chances you have at seeing more high level competition. And again, I'm not saying that a lot of teams around here don't play high level, because what was for my son is totally different was from everybody else. I just knew what I had to do for my son. Yeah. And we played at Urban DFW. One year we played at Urban DFW, and everyone was like, whoa, how y'all playing at Urban?
You're from Houston.
Why y'all playing at Dallas?
Oh,
all right, let me tell you this. Those guys at Urban, Jazz,
R.I.P.
So Jazz always spoke highly of Caleb. All the time. Wade, Taylor, all those guys, Byron, all of them, they treated us. That was one of the best things we did, was because we didn't have all the politics in Houston.
We didn't know what was going on.
We didn't know what was going on in Dallas.
Coach Byron would come halfway and get Caleb for practice. He'd go to practice.
And we just show up to the tournament.
Yeah, it was perfect.
And if he started, cool. If he did start, Byron be like, man, okay. I'd be like, I don't care. He gonna do what he do anyway. I accepted that though.
How did having Caleb play during COVID affect you? Oh,
well, he did more training during are you talking about the peak part of COVID, like in the beginning when everything was shut down?
That was hard for us because, he had a good team. He was going to be on the Houston Hoops grassroots team, and we saw them practice. Huh?
17, the EYBL.
I said,
yeah, you said grassroots.
Well, I said,
I got you.
You know what I'm talking about. Gosh. Well, anyway, he was going to play with the Houston Hoops, and to me, it was like him. You had Jonathan Massey, you had Bryce Griggs, you had who was Zach Clemens? What's the other boy's name? The big boy. I'm Langston Love.
Langston Love, Zach Clemens, Dudes.
Yeah, Ashton
Smith, Aaron Scott. Yeah, they were loaded. And
I know I'm missing somebody. I'm sorry, but I was so excited, and then it was just like Amari, yes, Amari was on there, and then it was just like shut down. And so I just feel like this is my son's last summer to play. So as a mom, I might have shed a few tears, but then during the basketball season was different because you had to. Just the atmosphere was different. There wasn't a lot of spectators at the games because you couldn't have so many spectators. I don't even know what that says. There was, you had to wear masks, whatever. You had to sit away. After the games, we come home, take everything off, wash everything, shower, and I still got COVID.
Dang, that's
tough.
I still got COVID. I didn't even go anywhere.
That's tough.
Hey, hold on. The Stewarts seem to have.
So this question is basically saying, you guys, they're sure that you guys have had like some type of difference in
Yeah.
what you should be doing with Caleb. So how did y'all resolve that? Because sometimes, that can drive a wedge between parents.
Let me say this first and foremost. Let me say this. As the husband, as the man, I like sleeping in my room. I don't like arguing.
Yes,
And I
sir.
try not to let her go to sleep at night. The whole thing is try not to let her go to sleep at night or me mad at each other. We gonna resolve this before whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
basketball is not finna drive a wedge in our house
But
at the end of the day.
what is the biggest difference we have?
I mean, we probably had some disagreements on things and differences and Caleb problems.
I think the biggest difference we probably have, which you're getting better at, is I'm more of I'm more of like Caleb will go. I mean, he would train hard. He puts a lot of work in. And then there's days I say, you know what? He needs to rest. His body needs to rest.
Yeah.
And this one, you'd be like, oh, I tell him, I say, one day of rest is not going to hurt his development. It's not going to make him any worse. It's not going to erase all these years and all these months and all these hours that he's put in. Rest is good. Everybody needs rest. You have to rest your body. Right. And so that used to be a disagreement because
it used to be when he was younger.
Mm-hmm. And now I think that's probably the only one.
Yeah. And then what my idea like of like when she said he's not gonna hurt this and hurt that, I'll be like, hey man, let's go to the gym and just put some shots up. Like that's my idea. Go put up 500 shots. And she might, nah, he need to rest. Then at the end of the day, see his mom and
And I say, Caleb, and sometimes he's like, I said, nope. I can just look at my child and like, no, he needs to rest. Let him. And then usually by the evening he'll say, I think I want to go to the gym, put some shots.
Yeah, even when she tell him let him rest. See, and that's what I said earlier. I let him come to me after all of that. You know what I'm saying? If he down, then okay, yeah, I'm gonna push you and let you go do your thing. And then we might go in the gym for about an hour. He probably put up about 500-600 shots. We'll work on some stuff, and then we'll come back home. But like I said, at the end of the day, I like sleeping in my bed and chilling. I don't like that arguing.
Yeah, because I'll argue. No, I'm playing.
I don't like
no, we really try to resolve. Like of course, you're gonna have some disagreements, but at the end of the day, we try to, we communicate. We talk. Obviously, we're big talkers, so we just be. I say, you want to get something to eat? And you're like, yeah, and then we'll talk about it, and then it's we resolve. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Let's see.
Oh, we got one more.
Okay. How
did you handle the emotional up and downs of rankings, recruiting reports, and bad games of Caleb to keep it positive?
This is what I tell my son about ranking.
I know.
Their opinions. Everybody got one.
That's it, man.
Their opinions. Everybody got one. Let me tell you this. When Caleb got his first offer from Texas A&M, he was top 3 in the state. Top 3. And on everybody little poll, a big poll, whatever they want to call it, he was up there. All right. Rankings go down. He 13. Rankings are, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, rankings are for parents. Mm-hmm. Rankings are for parents. Because when you go to college, the next 5 or 6 people, they might have been ranked just like you. You got some all-state guys. You got some guys that made All-American in college that you got to go against. You got, here you go. On the grassroots circuit, that's why I said exposure is good. It's good to take your son and let him see different competition outside the city, because at the end of the day, you're not just going against everybody in Houston to get scholarships. Yeah. You're going against the whole country. Mm-hmm. So
and then also with rankings, a lot of times, sometimes like as mom, I think when he was younger, I would look at him and be like, oh, why did they put my son down there? Or, oh, okay, well, I think he might be better. And I had to stop doing that. And, I got over the hump. And because one week, I would look at one rankings. I'm like, oh, they have him top 10. And then another one, I'm like, okay, now he's 15 on that. And then a different opinion, like, okay, now he's top 3. And to be honest, Caleb really doesn't even look at that.
Yeah, he don't look at it. He don't even care.
Yeah, most of the players don't. They
Yeah.
No, he don't even care.
don't really
And
look.
then,
No,
and
the only way that they know about it is as a parent. I'll be like, hey man, y'all playing against such and such. He the top rank. He's this. He's that. And now, if you go as a parent and say it, now you got your kid wondering either your kid gonna go at that kid or he gonna back up from that kid. Now, as a high school coach, if you say that to a group of kids, then they might back up off that kid to let him have his way. Because now you don't put that fear in.
and then also that's part. I'm gonna get to that question too, but the part two of like playing, having bad games, I just be like, hey, it happens. No one plays a perfect game. You're gonna have bad games. You're gonna have good games. You just try to stay consistent. And
NBA players have bad games. Why you putting that pressure on high school kids? Them dudes get paid millions of dollars and have bad games. Yeah, I mean millions. They have bad games.
Yeah.
So I've heard people say, "Oh, top ranked kids, Nick and Mike, we didn't want to show because he had bad games." So, and I'm sorry, I ain't knocking nobody, but some of the people that say that never picked up a basketball themselves. I'm 43 years old, and some of the people that be ranking these kids that say that, no offense, nobody, I bet y'all get them buckets.
and then also there was one time Caleb he didn't have a good game.
Yeah.
And I asked him, I said, Caleb, how did you feel about your game? And he was like, my team, we won.
Yeah. He don't care.
He was like, my team, we won. He was like, we won. And so with him responding like, hey, it's a team effort. It's not just me. It's my team. We won. He was happy. I was like, okay, on to the next.
Rankings look good though. What was that?
Wait.
Can you go back to the other question? We didn't answer.
Yeah.
She said something about grassroots. How did we make our
decision? What was it a factor in your grassroots team shows about how many of their players have received scholarships? I think.
No, let me answer that.
Go ahead.
No, there's a point where I think with grassroots, there's a switch. And so a lot of the grassroots, when your child gets a certain age, to be honest, the grassroots program, they came after us. We didn't, you still have to try out, but there were certain programs who wanted us to play. So it was almost like, okay, well, where do we go? Do we go to BU? Do we go to the Houston Hoops? Do we go to the Defenders? Whoever. Right. I'm just throwing teams out there, Team Harden. And so you have to do as parents, you had to do your research and say, well, this program, okay, BU is a good program. They've been around the city for a while. It kind of starts already. It's like the recruiting process. Who do they have in their program? Who have they developed? I
think my wife said it one time. Basketball. I'm sorry. Basketball is a big circle, right? It is. Because if you look at it, we probably have played with some of everybody on most just on every AAU team. So grassroots team. So like with some of everybody, either played with them, played against them, or practiced with them, or something. So like the determining factor wasn't what scholarships they offer, is I guess what stage that they give, what stage or what tournaments they're playing in, the exposure. That's what's more big is the exposure.
Yeah, the exposure. And at the time, BU was getting a lot of exposure. And then plus they developed a lot of good players. And then, from there, JL3, the same thing. So, okay, in the hoops, how coaching your son?
Do you guys want him to be selfish? So, with that being said, my son is a very unselfish person, unselfish player. Like, he's like this. I know I can get 30 when I want to, but if such and such got it going on that night, why am I going to work that hard and not give him the ball? Mm-hmm. He's like that. If you get into a rhythm and he finds you and you keep shooting it, yeah, my son is a very nice kid. You know what I'm saying? He's nice. Like, and I ain't just saying that.
There's sometimes I'm like, man, if that was me, I would have shot the ball.
But, yeah. Yeah.
But I'm gonna go with the right play.
Yeah, he's trying to make the right play all the time. And a lot of times, see, I'm gonna tell you, it's not just being able to score that gets you a scholarship. I told you that Coach Conkle, he watched Caleb cheer his teammates. He counted the claps that he did. You know what I'm saying? On the bench, he watched Caleb on the bench clapping for his teammates. That was the first thing he noticed. All right. The next thing is when we go see coaches, the first thing they notice about Caleb is his size. Because on film, he looks one way, but in person, he has an athletic body and his size and his stature. Like, can I put an extra 20 pounds on his frame and he still be athletic? Yeah, they look at that too.
Yeah, there's so much good that goes into that.
Yeah.
People don't, some parents might think, well, my son's averaging, 30 points a game, but I mean, their natural build might not be what that school's looking for.
Right. It's a lot of stuff going into it.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes
into it.
Like, yeah.
I mean, I've had a coach, literally, we went to a game and looked at Caleb and was like,
yeah, touching him up and down. Like,
what
that.
Are you, about 175, 180?
Yeah,
I mean,
just like that. Yeah.
I was like, what is this, the slave block? I mean, what's going on here? Like,
you got the boy cracking.
Like, I was like, okay.
But that's how it was.
I mean,
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, so it's more to it than just getting buckets too, because they look for their guards and their bigs a certain way. Can we put this college weight on this guy? Because you look at most kids that go to college, they come back and have a lot of stature on them. Can your body hold that and you still perform in your athleticism? So it's more than just getting buckets.
And also the nutrition piece.
Yeah.
Going from being at home, and I try to, of course, they're teenagers, they're going to eat their fast food. But when I tell you guys, I pump Caleb with green beans and rice and chicken. And because I know when he goes off to school, he's going to be on a certain meal plan. He's going to have to eat a certain way. Yeah. Every now and then he'll do a protein shake. He doesn't really like it, but you have to get him used to that now, because if they do go to the next level, it's hard to go from eating Chick-fil-A every day to, eating, hey, you got breakfast, you have your oatmeal, you have your banana, you got protein, you got this and that. Now you have your snacks, you got to train. And so I try to, give him the proper nutrition. So when he goes on to the next level, it's not like, what is this? I don't want to eat this,
Right.
I mean, it's so much.
It's a lot into it though. But it's not, again, it's not just about the buckets. Like even with that, just he has to be able to talk to people and interview with people. Like Caleb started interviewing at a young age, like doing interviews and talking. So it's about presentation too. Like it's a lot. When college coaches call, they don't call me first. They might have texted me, hey, I just spoke to your son. Or they're talking to him. And sometimes, like when he was younger, when they used to call, he would let me listen on speakerphone, and but I have to let him go and do his thing.
Yeah, because it's nothing against the way some people communicate, but you don't want to be doing an interview and they're like, oh, so how do you feel about the game? And the student,
play by play,
execution. There's just so much. It's so much like you have to put into your kids, and not everybody. Some kids are shy, but you just got to know the basics and just be able to talk to these coaches and whatnot. But back to that grassroots, I think the recruiting, like for us picking teams, we just picked like who we felt was a good fit for Caleb, and they wanted us, and we did our research, and that's who we went with. So. But you gotta be careful. The only thing I can say that with grassroots, that when they start getting older, is it's really political, and so you'll have a good team, and then a month later you look up and it's like, dang, what happened to the team?
Don't they say that the icebreaker isn't that what break teams up?
Hey man, that's gonna be the biggest free agency pool ever on Monday morning. You get whatever kid, man. Watch how many kids. I'm keeping a count too. Me and G Day was talking about this. Watch how many kids start out in one uniform on Friday night, and by Sunday, how many times they done changed uniform. Monday.
I used to always say that.
You know what's funny about that? See, this how you don't do it though. When I had my own AAU organization, I made parents sign contracts. I ain't telling y'all them they sign contracts.
Ooh.
I ain't telling y'all people how to run their business and then, but they sign contracts. And I put it with it. Hey, if you didn't read it, that wasn't my problem. But when we had problems and we had that paying me,
here's the
You got a contract you signed. You should have read it.
Ooh, I ain't never heard of that one before. Gino, you heard that before? I ain't never heard of that one before.
Hey,
I had him on contract.
hey, y'all need to get some contracts, man.
Contracts, baby.
Coach Stewart dropping.
Coach
Hey,
Stewart didn't change the game.
this whole show has been really good, man.
Nah,
Very
man,
informative,
very
as Coach
informative.
Freeman said. He said y'all need to write a book for real.
She working on
I'm
one.
working on it. And Cordell, will you hand me that paper, my book, my chapters?
She worked. She wrote it down. She working on one.
So you know the content of this book.
Just tell me.
Just a second. You guys might think this is funny.
Well, you mentioned it the other night on the comments.
Yeah, but I think this is my rough draft. These are the topics of the books. Grassroots, chapter 1, maybe. I mean, these are the chapters. The media, training, high school, college recruitments, jealousy, the final chapter, the clique, trophies. Oh, then COVID-19.
Well, when you finish that book, I'm gonna be in line. I need an autograph.
Sign that thing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
So because there's a lot of more stuff that
Hey, I gotta tell you though, Miss Day, that your highlight films that you probably heard me say it earlier though. They do have the click. Oh no, there is the click and stuff.
There's lots of different clicks.
No, there are clicks in like grassroots, high school. It is like.
And then the groups, they get together. Like I talk about the kids in the groups. There's some adult groups too.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, but look, we never make it in either because we different. You know what I'm saying? You think outside the box.
Yeah.
That's how you do it. Yeah, you got to think outside the box especially when it comes to your child. Mm-hmm. Like nobody can do your child, treat them like you do.
He needs
man. This is what I did with my contract. What I did was I put everything in it that I had experienced the prior season that I didn't want, and I went over there my parent meeting, and it was people looking at it, and if they walked out, this wasn't meant for you, because I don't need you, and I volunteered my time. Like my whole AU thing, I didn't get paid for it. I volunteered my time. I never got paid for it because I was a high school coach. I just enjoyed it. And then I got burnt out with it too. But if the contract thing, like I had one of my things that I boldface printed was no team hopping. Once you in because you took up a spot for somebody else. And if you team hop to get out of that contract, then you had to pay in the team fund. So they kept a lot of people. I mean, it only made sense because you took a uniform. You took a uniform from someone that I might have cut and could have got that uniform. So now you got to pay into that. You got to buy that uniform that you took. And then be like, I'll get it back. No, that's used. It ain't brand new like I bought the
Hey, I like it. I'm going to say this for myself because I'll be remiss because I don't want to I've been getting a bad rep as to not appreciating people in the basketball world.
What you mean?
Hey man, people take things out of context. They started saying that I don't respect coaches and the time that they put in. That's why I be putting disclaimers on things I say now because people only hear. I ain't gonna even say negative. People only hear the non-positive things. You know what I'm saying? Like when you going against the way they thinking, that's the only thing they hear. So I could say, Coach Stewart, you had a great year. And then I could be like, oh man, y'all lost to Westlake. But y'all had a phenomenal season. All they heard was, oh man, he said we lost to Westlake. You know what I'm saying? Like
I got you.
But I wanted to say, like, congratulations on a great year. You know what I'm saying? Y'all had like probably the best trilogy of games against Summer Creek, man. Y'all hey, that thing was rocking, man. By the time y'all got to Delmore, it was looking like pre-COVID up in there, but
it was always.
But you know, it's been like that.
There you go.
That's Rob's nickname, man. The Yellow Man.
But man, I'm gonna say this. I told you, I can't always hear good. I gotta hear some bad too, and I can't always hear bad. I gotta hear some good. I'm gonna say this, and this is the type of person I am. I'd rather you tell me the ugly truth than give me a bold-faced lie, because you gotta keep giving me lies to make up that ugly truth.
I like that.
So keep it 100 with me.
I like that.
And then let me figure out how I want to deal with you.
Like,
At the end of the day.
Hey, once again, man, want to thank both of y'all for what y'all
Thank you.
done with your son, Caleb.
Thank you.
Phenomenal young man. Have spoken with him many times. Like you said, he can hold conversation very well. So just want to commend you guys for raising him to be that way, and also focusing on books just as well as he is on the court. I wish him nothing but a healthy collegiate career, man, and that he's able to go and have fun and have an experience of a lifetime and be able to graduate debt free, like owing nothing, man. That's
Yes.
huge. That's really
Yes.
big. So hey, commend you guys on that. Want to thank y'all once again for being a part of the show today.
appreciate y'all, man. Y'all done set the
We
boy
appreciate
high,
y'all, man.
Y'all
We
done
appreciate
set
you
the boy
for having
high.
us.
Yes, sir.
Hey, and again, your mixtape, sir, helped a lot too as well.
It's like you said, man. That's all it's for, and that's what a lot of people misinterpret. The mixtape is just for the coaches to get interested, because then they want to see. Okay, I want to see everything.
Right.
I don't just want to see him dunking, getting a steal, getting a block, making 3 points. I want to see full game. I want to see how he acts on the bench. I want to see
Right.
how when the coach is getting on him. I want to see everything now. And
Now, you put my son on the other end of a mixtape, I'll be like, I don't like him. No.
Yeah. She'll be like, oh, you need him like that. Oh.
It happens.
But no,
It
appreciate you guys, man. Y'all welcome anytime, man. And
Anytime.
y'all always in the comments, so
Oh yeah, man. Because we enjoy the show, man. I'll be cracking up. Man.
yes, sir. We appreciate y'all, man.
Appreciate y'all.
Appreciate y'all, man.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for
No
having me.
problem.
Y'all,
Hey man, you're gonna have to get you some you need to tap that college mixtape source. You know what I'm saying? Get some college students on there, get some college games. We got a lot of kids that's playing college ball in Houston that we only see tweets about. We want to get them on, when their season over and done, get them on the show, man.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Interview.
Oh yeah.
Yes, sir.
Their college experience.
Nah,
Because that helps the younger generation.
No, it does. It does. Yes, sir. Definitely, man.
We appreciate
Hey,
y'all, man.
G-Day, we got that parent show coming up, right?
We do, man. Hey,
Mr. Keys is
they probably gonna be on the parent show.
Yeah, for
Man.
sure.
A parent show.
Yeah, what's parents show? It ain't gonna be not like no Atlanta Housewives and then.
Nah.
No, I'm messing with y'all. Like,
No. Just how we doing here. Get a group of parents. Allow them just to talk about how everything went, recruitment, different grassroots teams, how some coaches treated their kids certain ways, just kind of a way just to open up the doors for the younger parents with up and coming high school kids, to let them know, hey, these are some of the things that happen. But just because it happened to me doesn't mean it's going to happen to you.
right.
Or just because it happened this way for us doesn't mean it's going to happen that way for you. But just to kind of just give people a perspective from different walks of life with people.
Right.
Yes,
Y'all know what y'all should do. Y'all should. No, I'm just messing.
No,
I'm just giving them some untapped stuff right quick.
Take all suggestions.
Y'all should mic some of these parents up in these grassroots stands.
I thought about doing that.
Maybe miking kids up and they be saying anything. Why not mic some of these?
Nah, they was. They
Show how
did,
you
Mike.
really feel. I'm playing with y'all, man. Don't do that. It'll be wild.
Could you imagine Mr. Damien have a microphone on? That'd be crazy.
Damien that dude though. All right, Damien my homie.
No, I respect him.
Yeah, that's my homie.
He don't need
That's my brother.
Hey,
Look,
I got
man,
love
Mr.
for Mr.
Damien would
Damien
not
'cause he been
care
the
if it was a
same.
mic or not a mic. He's
Yeah,
gonna
he
say
gonna-
what he got to say regardless.
I got
Yeah.
love for Mr. Damien because he gonna be the same person every time you see
Thank
him.
you.
That's the
Thank
thing.
you.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's why I said he 100. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather you be
Yeah.
100 with me than be
We
True.
played with DJ for 2 years in his dad.
Yeah, we played DJ that.
Yeah, that was some good grassroots.
That's family right there.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
family.
Yep.
Oh yeah, no problem for sharing video. And yeah, she's laughing because her son plays with DJ at Side Creek High School, so she knows.
Oh, I bet it's a wild ride.
Yeah.
But like we say though, Damien, the way he is who he is. You know what I mean?
Who
So
he is.
it's not like some parents they be, and then all of a sudden you don't know you're the subject of the group text.
Nah, yeah.
Right. You just them snakes.
Yeah.
That's what I call
Them
them.
snakes.
Nah, for
I
sure.
like I said, I already keep you 100 then whisper.
No, for sure.
Oh, that's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Because usually it usually comes out anyways. Because you
Yeah.
never know who knows.
I mean,
Who
yeah,
knows?
it's gonna come out anyway because everybody's in some type of little circle, and so people gonna say something to somebody else, and it's just gonna eventually get around to you anyway.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you just
I mean,
might
there's so much stuff that I've heard, and I just, I'm like, ooh, I want to be petty. I want to be petty, and I'm like, no, don't do it. Just don't do it. Don't do it. Why?
I'm not petty. But
I mean,
either I mess with you or I don't. You know what I'm saying? That's how I am.
Yep.
And I might tell you, I might be like, man, I ain't that smart. But don't listen to that.
once again, we thank y'all for being on. We thank everybody for tuning in. Until the next time, everybody, we out, man. We love everybody. Everybody have a blessed week.
You too. Y'all have a good one. Thank y'all, everybody.
All right.
Yes, sir.